like to call the Tuesday, November 22nd Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Kyle Cashmere, lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Member Romine is under the weather, so it's up to you and I today.
We're above the weather.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Public comment. I do not have any public comment cards. Anything on
Nothing
social
yet.
media? Clerk Treasurer, claims approval.
So I'm going to steal this real quick. Okay, we have Civil City payroll in the amount of $466,228.41.
I move we approve the Civil City payroll.
I will second that. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
We have Civil City claims in the amount of $454,523.09.
I move we approve the Civil City claims.
Second, discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes.
Water claims in the amount of $59,299.32.
I move we approve the water claims.
Second, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And sewage claims in the amount of $447,263.83.
I move we approve the sewage claims.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Department head reports, anything new today? Because we just had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and I know it's a short week, so please share any thoughts briefly. We'll start with Planner Craig Phillips.
Currently, our department is just working on finishing up the parking study, hopefully presenting that to the public soon. Work continues on the Monroe Plaza and Streetscape project. We had a nice workshop with a joint workshop between the Bid District Board and the Redevelopment Commission last week, I believe it was. Good input received from that. Work continues on the Trails, Greenways, and Pathways Master Plan for the city. We had a public input session for that and some focus group meetings, and those went well. And continued work on the housing projects for the city as well as annexations that we have going on currently.
Wastewater, Jerry Jackson.
We had inspection by IDEM on Friday. We have a new inspector, Kelly, and I have lost her name. Young woman who has a lot of lab experience, and she asked for some data and some paperwork, and I think we did okay. So I'll pass on the report when it comes back.
Tim Werner, Water.
Yeah, this week we took the East Plant well, number C, out of rotation just for annual well clean and maintenance on it. That's something in the last couple of years we've, as the static levels and pumping levels start to drop, it's a lot easier to bring those back to production levels if you stay on them instead of letting them get clogged up. So we're being really aggressive on our well maintenance to have those wells last a little longer. So we'll be doing C this week. And then shortly after that well goes back into service, we'll be doing one of our Warnocky wells also. Other than that, we have several staff members that are getting ready to take their certification test, newer staff members, so we're excited about that. That's one of the goals that I've pushed through the water department, is to get every one of our staff members certified through the state of Indiana. So we're getting there. That's all I have this morning.
Is there any impact when you take one of those out of service? Is there any impact on the water supply?
No, so the EP wells are part of the East Plant number 2. There's 6 active wells out there. We noticed it a little more with the Warnocky well because we're kind of starving for water at the Lake Street plant, but that's where the Soldier Memorial wells are going to come in place. to pick up that. We'll make it through it. The east plant does 65% of our pumping anyway, so we can survive without the Lake Street plant. That's why we do it this time of year too, because the water demand's down.
But again, residents, businesses won't see any effect
We won't
whatsoever.
see any effect of it.
Thank you. Andrea Smith, HR.
Good morning, board members. Andrea Smith, Human Resource Director. Finishing up open enrollment. Wellness screenings ended last week. However, if you were unable to make it, call Porte directly and you can get scheduled in. And they'll work around their scheduling to make sure you're in. And that's about it right now. I will be back up with some UMR issues.
Beth West, Transport.
Good morning. Just a reminder to the public, we will be closed Thursday for the holidays, so our staff can stay home and enjoy the day with their families. Friday, we will be running limited hours, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., along with limited drivers. So please be patient if you do call. We're running on a skeleton crew, so please be patient. If you did purchase the blue holiday pass, please make sure that you're using it before the end of the year because it will expire, and our drivers will not take it after the first of the year. Working currently with an advertising company that some of our other departments up in Northwest Indiana work with for advertising on buses. They're coming out today to actually measure the buses so we can start moving forward to get ads. This will help with revenue for next year, hopefully.
Awesome.
So we're slowly moving forward.
Thank you. Mark Schreiber is actually speaking at the Tourism Board meeting, LaPorte County Tourism Board, so he will not be here. Jess Bruder, Communications.
Good morning. Just wanted to let everybody know the holiday edition of Travel Indiana magazine is out. In this particular issue, we have a half-page ad, a formatted ad for the Santa parade, and then a half-page editorial on all the fun things to do in and around LaPorte for the fall and winter seasons. As a year recap, they sent us some numbers on how many people were reached by the magazine. They estimated that more than 55,000 people per issue were reached in this magazine. So we've had an ad in every single issue, all 4 issues this year, and that 79% of their readers have planned a trip based on something they've seen in the magazine. So I like those numbers, which is why later on you're going to hear from me again. We're going to renew with them. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Chief Snyder, Fire.
Currently, our mechanics are doing all their annual pump testing on all the apparatus that's required. And also just a reminder to the public out there to be careful with the cold weather hitting. We've already had a couple of cold weather related fires within the last week. So get the furnaces checked, fireplaces, flues, make sure everything's clean. We would rather not come visit them during the holiday season.
Chief Breton.
We had actually 3 graduate from the Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy on Friday. One we've offered a conditional offer to. He still has the psych eval to do Friday, and then hopefully we'll be swearing him in before the end of the year. It was a nice ceremony. The Superintendent of State Police, Doug Carter, flew in. He actually avoided the snow and was able to land, and he gave an address. It was quite a nice program.
LaPorte grad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Phil Grashowski, Code Enforcement.
Good morning. We addressed the first snowstorm by going door
Maybe
Like a
we'll,
bit
maybe we'll
off-putting
start the
to-
race with Enter Sandman or something.
Yes, I like that. That works. Thank you. Okay. Annette Leffler, amending 2023 holiday schedule.
I could spend a lot of time talking about all the things I screwed up this year, but just this one right now. I neglected to put New Year's Day on our list of holidays for the employees next year. It is Monday, January 2nd is when it's observed, and I just neglected to put it on the list. So I'm asking to add that, to amend our list to include New Year's Day.
Holidays.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion?
I guess, well, we didn't really catch it either, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And because
Kind of a big one,
that-
it's first on the list.
Yeah, seriously. And because of that, I need to move the, our first Board of Works meeting from Tuesday to Wednesday to accommodate that holiday.
Well, Tim Werner was telling me he wanted to work on the first, so that's why I didn't take it. You know.
Tim
So can-
probably will be working on the first. I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Maybe I'll amend my motion.
Can we amend to do both?
Oh, yeah, so I'll amend the motion to approve both the holiday schedule and the meeting schedule.
I will second that. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sweeping services,
You want me to handle that?
please.
So, NDOT, this is a contract that the street department handles every year. NDOT sent us a contract for the amount of $6,228 that we will receive for street sweeping 17.3 total curb miles twice a year on State Road 2, State Road 4, and US 35. So we are asking for board approval to approve this contract.
So moved to approve.
Second, repeat those lane mile, or the locations again. Two,
State Road 2, there's 5 curb miles. State Road 4, there's 4 curb miles. US 35, there's 8.3 curb miles. And each location shall be cleaned a minimum of 2 times per year.
so the opportunity there, they wouldn't have to do this if they relinquish and we're able to have a corridor and take control of
be
our
asking me
downtown. I said,
I'm
so
gonna move
they
the microphone.
save that money, Highway 4 and so forth. So further discussion?
So it's minimum of 2, but then it's capped, which looks like it's capped at 2. Is it, well, number one, do we ever do those like more than twice a year?
I
don't think so.
No, so I mean, it's going to happen twice.
Oh, Mike might
right?
know.
So, okay.
It's no different that they only cut the medians 3 times a summer, which is a frustration. So we could help them, like I said, taking control of those roads, correct, Mr. Phillips?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Are they listening right now?
Yes. So all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Mr. Schreiber is not here, so Beechwood Golf Course, Kyle Cashmere has all kinds of time on his hands now, right?
All kinds of it, yeah. So we're looking to renew our Golf Now contract. They're transitioning from our server-based system to an iCloud system. So nothing really changes for the most part, but we'll be getting all new hardware and software for our point-of-sale system, online tee times, continue with our online, our email and Facebook marketing. We will be transitioning to them for credit card processing. But the fees, they will match our current frontline processing fees, and they'll continue to run our website. Online tee times equate for about 87,000 or 16% of our total revenues for a year. Golf Now is the leader in the industry for that, so that's why we're going to stay with them. The benefit to this contract is, in the past, we've given them 3 tee times a day as a trade. It's about a $10,000 equivalency. If we weren't to trade, we would owe that annually. But under this contract, we'll get 25% of those revenues. And most of that's just based on the fact that they are having some competition in the industry, so we were able to negotiate that split. So, And that 25% will equate to a roughly around $8,000 in revenue.
So, okay, so in that contract, every time it mentions the trade, those are tee times that basically they had gotten at no cost.
At 100%, yeah, that was the trade.
Okay.
So instead of us paying 10 grand a year for their services, it's a trade system.
Gotcha, okay.
So, and again, in the past, they would get 100% of that, and now we'll get 25% of it.
Okay. Would they, typically in season, would they maximize those trades?
There's an algorithm there, so if someone books it like 28 days in advance, they're getting 100%, and they're getting rack rate.
Okay.
But then as it gets closer to that date, and if they haven't booked, then they'll start to 10%, 20% off.
Okay.
30, and then eventually hope to just, book it one way or another.
Okay.
You said they put a floor, you put a floor on it?
There is going to be a floor in there where they can't discount it a certain percentage off.
Okay, and then the change, though, is that we'll now start to pick up the 25%
Correct.
of each of those trade.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
I will second that. Kyle, congratulations, great job this year to you and your team, and the course looked fantastic.
Thank you very much. It was a great year.
Yeah, it really did.
Appreciate it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes 2-0.
Kyle, you said something about a fairway mower or rough mower, what is it you need?
Yeah, the mayor's going to approve us a fairway mower.
That's what happens when you order everything when you had the opportunity to do so. And
Since we're chatting about it, I read in there about the elevated golfer experience, and I'm like, my experience wasn't elevated beyond what I've always done, so okay, that's the part. I think this is where we need to push them more next time, so.
Thank you,
Anyway,
Kyle.
thanks, yeah, just kidding.
Jess Bruder.
I'll be brief. Before you is an advertising agreement with Travel Indiana. It's pretty on par with what we paid with them last year, but we were kind of able to custom tailor this to fit our needs for this year. So we have a full-page itinerary in their staycation issue. That's the issue they release in January. A half-page ad in the remaining issues for the year, a formatted ad in all 4 issues, and then a mention in all of their e-newsletters. She's also throwing in at no cost 2 editorial mentions in the 2 editorials we picked. So. She really is a great contact, helped us to really fit this to meet our needs, and they've been really great to work with. Like I said, 50,000, they estimated 55,000 people are reading these magazines, so it's good exposure for the city.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Just a quick question. I know in a lot of this stuff, it's very sort of subjective in that somebody sees something, they just come to an event. But do we have any tracking mechanism where we've got maybe some surveys that people might come to the community and like, oh, I saw something in Travel Indiana and came. Do we have anything like that?
No, we don't have anything like that per se. They ran their own survey, but it was more broad than that. Like how many, they asked how many, based on what you've seen in the magazine, how many times have you planned a trip?
Okay, so that you were,
based
okay,
on,
yeah.
So of that, I think it was 79% have planned at least one trip. Assuming some of that hit our direction, I will say that our Live in the Lake Life site, we've plugged it in every single ad we've used in them, and we have seen an uptick in visitors to the site. So.
And I will tell you, just for what it's worth, talking to people at Friday Night Lives, saying, hey, I came up just for the weekend, wanted to check it out, saw something, and it wasn't always related to that. I think we did a staycation as well, and people came to LaPorte, and they were renting out some homes on the lake. So I think there's been some positive support for it. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Thank you. Andrea Smith.
Good morning again, Board. Andrea Smith, Human Resource Director. I have 3 items, and I have Renee Collier here from General Insurance to go over each one. I don't know if we want to approve them separately or all together.
Can do it.
I'd like to do it all at one if
Very good.
you're
So
okay
I've
with
got
that.
Probably. Yeah, these didn't open up online for me, so I couldn't really.
So the first is going to be UMR COBRA rates. The section, another section is the Optum fully insured transplant. And then we also have the UMR Berkeley stop loss.
Thank you, Andrea. Hi, I'm Renee Collier with General Insurance Services. So I work alongside Andrea and Courtney, and we help manage the plan. As far as the UMR Berkeley renewal for 2023, the plan itself is actually running very well this year. We wanted to point out that you guys are about $350,000 in the positive reserve at this point in the year. And as far as, we're also very pleased to propose the renewal as basically a 0.66% renewal. This is a less than 1% renewal, which is unusual. Most plans are running in double digits. This is a true testament to Andrea, Courtney, Corrine, you as a leadership team for implementing forward-thinking strategies to help contain costs, such as the Wellport Clinic, Aptocare Coordination, UMR Real Appeals. So thank you for your efforts there. And as far as UMR and Berkeley, all the provisions are the same, except for regarding UMR, the 2023 COLA limits from the IRS have basically adjusted, so we are complying with those. The individual deductible for the high deductible health plan is raising to $3,000 from $2,800. And as far as Berkeley, that's your stop loss. We do propose going with the $125,000 specific deductible from the $100,000. But otherwise, plan provisions are the same. Any questions on that?
And just going to the 125 because,
That's going to go ahead, that's actually going to kind of reduce some of your collateral to the captive, and it's also going to reduce the risk, basically, in the end, the risk as far as, excuse me, the $125,000 is going to reduce the admin fees as well, and that will help reduce collateral as well.
So basically just that, so that raising that amount.
Yes,
is
it
going to-
reduced your
I mean,
fixed
it's-
costs.
It's effectively kind of a higher deductible plan
Yes,
for the city, right?
Slightly higher that you take up front, but it's going to reduce the administrative costs up front as well, and that
So-
helps reduce the renewal to a 0.66%.
Okay, and then so if there is something, if there is if there are claims that then push to that cap, are we able to use that, oh gosh, I forgot what you call it, the
collateral?
reserve? Yeah, the reserve that we have
That would
to
be
help
an
cover in that piece?
That would be an ultimate situation. That really gets you guys, that's part of your captive.
Okay.
And that is there if you need it, but rarely do people get to that point, or groups get to
Okay.
that point. Yep,
And
but
that-
it is there if you need it.
And that reserved, I assume that rolls over?
It does, yep.
Okay.
They want to keep 2 years in the captive of the collateral, and then it can roll over if it remains in the plan.
Okay.
For the third
And then when you mentioned the 0.66%, so is that a less than 1% increase?
It is less than 1%.
That's
Yep,
what-
it is 0.66, less than
Okay.
1%.
Sorry, the document's sitting open for some reason online, that's why I really couldn't read any of it, but.
That's okay.
Okay.
And I'll
Is
go-
that it?
And just as far as the COBRA rates, those do reflect the .66 renewal. And then for the vision and dental, that will reflect the MetLife premiums as well, so everything's consistent. And as far as the opting fully insured transplant policy, that's something you have in place currently. For 2023, it's going to go up 0.3%.
and I also want to thank, I appreciate GIS, but thank Andrea Smith. She's been really aggressive.
Trying to think out of the box a little bit.
We really appreciate that.
That's really remarkable.
Oh, yeah, she's
Really.
fabulous, so.
For that kind of an increase, right, with a couple, a couple little structural changes and process changes, like, that's really amazing.
It absolutely is. Most plans are in double digits. That's why we want to make a point to the leadership team for all of you for taking those advantages of the cost containment strategies, having the forward-thinking strategies that you will go ahead and implement. It is a testament to you all.
Making everyone sit through open enrollment.
But that's worthwhile. That's worthwhile.
Oh, one last question. So
Please.
with that, that change, so how, kind of proportionally, how many people do we have that take advantage of the high deductible plan?
183, about 183. All our plans
She
are
knows that as of Saturday.
Just guessing, but probably 183.
Just be close.
Like Andrew got the most current.
Yeah, 183.
Next time, I just always ask specific numbers, right?
That's a great question. And we had about 130 go through the wellness screening, so that's pretty darn good.
It is.
Being responsible, so thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know why
Do I have a motion to approve?
No, but I think
So-
that's a
so
bigger
moved.
number than in the past.
Second, discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion approves. Thank you.
all. You guys.
Jerry Jackson, wastewater treatment plan, roofing.
Got a invoice from AA Rain Tight Roofing. If you recall, we bid this work back in June, and it took a little while, but they came in and did real nice work. They re-roofed the bio tower pump house, the trickling filter pump house, and our screen building. There were no change orders. They did it for the bid cost of $108,848. I recommend approval of their invoice. That brings all our roofs out there except the 2 steel roofs, the garage and the main building. I think the other roofs were all 4 years ago. So we're kind of up to present. It also says a lot about steel roofs because those are 1987. There's nothing wrong with them. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'd recommend approval.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, discussion?
Just one question. So when that proposal was including, that's just demonstrating, right, what the proposal was, is, because when I saw that.
We only got 2 bids.
Okay, so it was, okay.
And they were the low bid.
Okay.
Local, they do good job, so.
They do good work.
I do have a motion and a second, just further discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. I'm gonna break from that really quick, because I apologize to our man Mike Fraze. I forgot to include streets, and I know we get calls every day about leaves, snow. Mike, if you don't mind coming forward, thank you for your patience.
Right now, we're in the Corvette area with the loader crew, and then we hit the letters and numbers over there, and hopefully the snow will go away. We can get the leaf vacs back out starting Monday.
But in the meantime, you're still addressing leaves. I saw the trucks out Saturday, and so the public knows you're working on them every day this week?
Yep.
And what are we doing because of the snow covering the leaves?
We're pushing them up in piles and getting them that way, and until hopefully the snow goes away, or I can get the leaf vacs out Monday. The leaf vacs does non-curbs, so we don't tear up the tree lawns and stuff with the payloader and stuff.
Which I think is more important, and we need to take advantage of that equipment. If the snow doesn't go away, what are our options for the public? So they know, how will we get the leaves?
We're doing the best we can, and then we might make a round in the spring to finish them up if the snow goes away. There's a lot up, like I'll use an example, Weller Street, they're all up on the lawns, up on hills, and with the snow.
But can we get them with dump trucks?
We could get them with dump trucks, but with the loader bringing them down, we'll be tearing up the yards.
But our goal, we're gonna get them this fall, not in the spring.
Yep.
I think that, yes.
Well, that's, untimely snowstorm, right, with, kind of probably at the very early end of leaf pickup.
Leaves dropping late, snow coming early.
It did give us time to get around. It takes 4 weeks to make a one round.
So how far did we get before it?
We got just over by Barron Avenue, and Barron was the last one before the snow set.
But if the snow doesn't melt, we're still gonna attempt to get everything this year, this fall.
Yep.
Good. Not the spring, Amanda, this fall.
Right, that's what we're going for.
Yes.
I suppose, right, so probably a late issue too with the snow, right? If you're trying to pick up the leaves with the snow and.
It's not easy, but our guys are pretty skilled.
Well, then Monday there'll be another crew starting in Poletown. They'll be working both together, and hopefully they'll have a little further to go with dumping and stuff, so.
Questions? Thank you, Mike.
Alrighty. Thanks.
Craig Phillips.
Okay, this request is for a proposal from VS Engineering. This is related to the Chessie Trail Phase 3 project. The Chessie Trail Phase 3 is the trail that would connect La Porte to Michigan City. It would take off from the vicinity of where the Chessie Trail currently does a dog leg at East Shore Boulevard and head north from there along the old Chessie Trail, or the old Chessie Railroad right-of-way, and then follow the South Shore commuter line west to Michigan City. We received an initial $7 million towards grant towards that project through the READY grant program from the state. And because of the size of the grant and the size of this project, we feel it's necessary to have consultants assist us with program management, submitting information that's required to the state related to the preliminary steps for the grant, coordination between the various partners involved in this, which would be the City of LaPorte, Michigan City, and the LaPorte County, and the Healthcare Foundation of LaPorte. Healthcare Foundation of LaPorte was gracious enough to offer us a grant for the cost related to this proposal. So the full amount of the cost related to this proposal, $200,000, is through a grant from Healthcare Foundation. And we also need updated cost estimates for the project related to the increases in cost to everything over the last couple of years. So the initial estimates we had are needing to be updated as a result, and preliminary engineering associated with that will allow us to go for additional grant dollars for the project. So I would request approval of this. Work will begin on this immediately following the holidays, and intended to go, I think, throughout the calendar year 2023.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, discussion. And this is a unique, I mean, we had the largest grant.
We received the largest
Awarded.
grant, yep, awarded through the READY grant program. $7 million, yep.
So-
Near Krieger School. Sorry.
So the, oh, that's all right. So the Healthcare Foundation is basically going to cover through their grant, the cost of the engineering consultation, right, with VS.
Yep.
Very thankful to the Healthcare Foundation for doing that, of course. And then do you have a sense of the full cost of this project?
That's part of what this is going to give us,
Oh,
is
so
an
we don't
updated
know for
cost.
sure?
Not for certain.
Okay.
We knew what the cost was a couple of years ago, but with inflation and all the other issues associated with supply chain and all that, costs have gone up. And so,
I mean, do you know that figure off the top of your head?
not off the top of my
what that
head,
might have
no.
been?
That's
I'm just
part
wondering if
of, that's part of what this proposal will give us as an updated figure.
Okay. I'm just wondering, like, how much, I mean, is it going to be 14 million? Is it going to be,
It was 14 million.
It was
It's going to be
14.
higher than 14 million.
I just came up with that off the top of my head.
And so then that'll allow us to, look at funding where it comes from. We have another round of READY.
Well, so
coming
is that a
up.
possibility to do, obviously, this project is going to take a long time, right? Is there a possibility to do another READY grant with it?
I don't know the status of another READY grant, but there are other grant programs available through the state that might be made available in the next couple of years.
And
There's a program called Next Level Trails, for example, that comes out periodically that we would definitely apply for as part of the process as well.
Okay.
And we'll also have LaPorte County. Hopefully they'll participate in, Michigan City is already supportive financially. So trust me, this is something special for the entire county.
Well, no, I mean, truly, it's a fantastic idea. I mean, I remember talking to folks, even years ago that, boy, wouldn't it be great, right, to connect what we have here, which is, if you're a writer, like, you need more mileage, right, Jerry? I mean, it's probably not quite enough, but we got a lot of great city streets, and a lot of great writing in the area. But to be able to connect our current trail system with Michigan City, which then connects over into Porter County,
Right.
which connects over into Lake, that's really fantastic.
And this
So,
would connect directly to the Marquette Greenway, which stretches from Chicago to New Buffalo. And the segment in Michigan City that they called Singing Sands Trail is part of that Marquette Greenway project. And the region, through the Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission, also recently received a RAISE grant, which is a substantial, I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but basically to fund the remaining portions of the Marquette Greenway that have not been funded at this point. So there will be, ultimately, as part of that project, there will be a seamless connection between Chicago and New Buffalo, and then our idea is to tie into that, to be able to access the remainder of the region and be able to get to Chicago, et cetera. So,
I mean, the idea of having a multi-use trail that's not part of the roadway, I mean, because really the danger, right, in cycling is tremendous, right? We all know
Yep.
people who have been in accidents. And so with a couple other quick questions. So everywhere where they've got these they call it, how do they put it, grade separated. Those are all either elevated?
Elevated
over,
or tunnel, yep.
Tunnel under?
Yep.
Okay. Given the size, the scope, the dollar
14
value of this
miles.
project, if, and hoping to have grants to cover as much as possible, if not all, can this be piecemealed in terms of
Yeah.
like, if we have a grant to cover, up through, the US 20 crossing?
Yeah.
Can we do
This
that?
can be phased,
And then
and
okay.
that's how we would
Phased,
approach,
yeah, that's what I
just like every other project we've done, we would approach the same way, where we do this in phases. If we don't have complete funding at the time, we can do this in phases, and the idea would be to start from both ends and work towards the middle, if you will, so that both communities can take advantage of at least having additional trail for their residents to use until the final connection is made. There are some opportunities as well to use, temporarily to use county roads where there's less traffic and it's a safer situation for cyclists and riders in a temporary situation to make those connections as
Phases
well.
that aren't done, okay. It doesn't really relate to this per se, but so once you connect up into Michigan cities with Michigan City with the Singing Sands, is that all paved now going west? Because I know there's a piece of it that,
They've started some of that. The city owns, I believe, 90% of the right-of-way necessary once you get to Michigan City for the trail. There are a couple of different options that where we can connect to the Marquette Greenway, but that's part of what this study will take a look at too, is exactly how do we get through a couple of these little areas that we have some alternates that we need to explore. So we have some alternates we need to explore in the vicinity of where the Chessie rail line, the former Chessie rail line right away intersects with the South Shore. There's some alternates we need to take a look at in Michigan City, but aside from that, it's all just making sure that we look at grade separations for bridges and tunnels, to make sure, and those are the largest parts of the project, largest costs associated with the projects, like the 20 crossing, for example, is a substantial part of the project, and a couple of railroad, either bridges or tunnels that need to be put in, et cetera.
it's tremendous as a cyclist. I mean, the areas where we vacation, where we get on trails, and you can, there's areas, parts of Florida where you can go for 60, 75 miles on, where you're not sharing the road with vehicles, and yeah, it's tremendous.
To get in LaPorte on a trail and go to Millennium Park, that's cool.
Amazing.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And for other normal people, we can at least get up there and get on the South Shore and train up that way.
Paved. You're gonna come with it, and we're gonna do it.
I like
All
it.
right?
Jerry would do that, have a beer in Chicago and ride back.
Jerry will lap us, but we'll do it, right? Let's do it.
Absolutely.
You're in, right?
Yes.
Plenty of breaks.
Are you crossing your toes under the table?
No, I'm just going to say Mark's got to play a full
crossing his
game
legs.
for rec league at the Civic with me then. All right, so I do have a
Good set shot.
I do have a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second.
All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. David Heinold, I believe you have an item to add.
Yeah.
Morning, Board. David Heinold, Planning Department. I have before you a contract from United Consulting. This is for the Emergency Vehicle Preemption Project. So this is Phase 2, moving on to the federal project that we received funding through the Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. We have to do the engineering services for the 25 intersections in the city that are owned by the state to add equipment to that for the emergency vehicles. The total cost of this is $74,600, not to exceed that. Just requesting your approval. United Consulting is ready to go on this. So I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. So this is to move the preemption to what level? What will this do for us?
This includes all of engineering services, so design, environmental review. There's a certain level of a review that has to take place, and United Consulting is taking care of all of that in this contract. This is Phase 2. Phase 1 was just the local projects that have already moved past the bid stage. This is just all the design, engineering services, and all of that.
And does this, not knowing exactly where how many lights we have, but does this pretty much take care of every light?
Yeah, so it's all the state-owned, it's traffic signals. The city doesn't own any traffic signals. They're all in the state highways.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I don't
Yeah.
think we have any.
I think one is, that Johnson and Severs Road is just outside of the city limits, but it's on the state road.
But we have to pay
35.
electric for all.
Okay, so every light within the city
Yep.
currently, this will get us to the point
Yep.
where it's all prepared and ready to go, okay?
Do you have a motion and a second? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Thank you, David. With that, other business, unfinished business, thank you to all the organizations, families, and everybody to help during Thanksgiving to provide meals, turkeys, for those that are looking for friendship, fellowship, or need a little support during this holiday season. LaPorte is special, and we're thankful for everybody that goes above and beyond to help one another. So we're fortunate there. Good luck to New Prairie football this year, this Saturday, and LaPorte basketball this year, today, so tonight, and anything else by Member Kosher?
I would just add,
Heading down there.
thank
for
you
it.
to all of the city staff, all the leadership for everything you do throughout the year, and I know we probably don't thank you enough, but really appreciate everything you do to keep the city running, and not just keep it running, but really advance where we're at to become a better and better place to live and work.
Very nice. Do I have a motion to approve? Or I
Real
mean,
quick,
to adjourn?
Mayor, we did have a question.
Yes.
Any updates on Keston Elm safety and stop sign installation? I don't know exactly.
None at this point.
Okay. I think that's along the walking trail, I think was. the
And I
big-
think that would be more, have to come through Traffic Commission, which is the first Tuesday of the month. And if you could let them know at City Hall, or at the police station, 6 PM, 5 PM now, the first Tuesday of the month.
Got it, all right.
Have you heard something come across?
No, that's the first I've heard of it.
Okay.
Is that for putting a stop sign on 18th or at, like the
I think
crossing
it's as
crossing
Keston
there?
Elm comes out, they're concerned about bike
Crossing the-
traffic
oh,
that's
gotcha.
crossing,
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
so.
All
Have a
right.
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.
Andy?